It's good to be cautious meeting strangers. It can be dangerous. That's how people go missing, especially young, cute girls. But I'm nice. I'll take good care of you.
Yeah, true.
You're going to take her to your home today, is the plan.
To the house.
Say that nice and loud. He's going to take her to his house today.
Take her to the house.
Take her to the house.
Where you have a what?
The dildo.
Dildo.
The lube.
Got to get mad. Got to get mad.
What up, Nick? My name's Jay. I'm with CPP New York. Just wanted to talk to you for a minute.
Oh, okay. So,
Who are you talking to? Yeah, come on. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about who you're talking to. I'm not the police or nothing. Obviously, I mean, you've done nothing wrong here.
yeah, I was drawing very defined lines.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as I said, I'm not the police. I'm with a group called CPP New York. Do you know who that is? Have you met her before?
No.
So my name's Aunt Kit. Yeah, I'm her aunt. Do you want to know how we found out about you?
I would assume text messages.
No. No, I don't have access to her phone. I will now, obviously. I'm just gonna get this way because there's too many people. I don't want them calling the cops. Nothing.
So yeah, we're just coming out here. If we talk in there, someone's gonna call the cops on us. We don't need to do all that.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And that's how I knew she was talking to somebody.
Okay.
So why did you have her do this?
So that I could verify that she wasn't just some random person.
Yeah, so you could verify that she was 13.
Well, so that she was who she was saying she was. She did tell me.
A 13-year-old, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was your plan today? Just to
We were going to hang out. As discussed, I was going to tutor her, which was a legitimate plan.
okay.
So I told her to bring her schoolwork.
Yeah.
She wanted, I mean, I assume it was her I was talking to? Is it stuff
It
that
was
you
her
and-
that you were
Okay,
talking
good,
to,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
What do you
it's-
mean good?
Because then we can get on the same page.
Right.
I want us to be on the same page.
Okay.
Okay, so we have who's underage, right?
How old is she?
13.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She is, we talked as friends. She was sexually curious. I answered questions. She had questions. I answered them. That was most of the nature of our relationship. We've been talking for a year now, and she only started asking about sexual stuff within the last 2 months-ish.
Yeah, and so you were just trying to help her out with that then?
Yeah, I was guiding her because it's good for when they have questions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Ideally, she'd talk to you because you're her aunt.
Did
Aunt
you
Kit.
advise her to do that at all?
To talk to you?
About it?
Well, I assumed she would anyway.
Did
I
you
know
assume
she's-
no? But did you advise her to do it? You said ideally. Does she know that
Yeah.
that's the ideal situation for her to come to me instead of you?
Uh,
Did anybody tell her that?
I mean,
or
I
did you
probably
just?
should have told her that.
Yeah.
That would have been a good choice to tell her to talk to the
To an adult.
guardians.
Right.
Yeah.
And was that you talking to her the whole time? You don't have friends
Yeah.
talking
Nope,
to her as
just
well?
me.
Okay. I was just curious about that. So I work on a lot of cases of I do things like child exploitation, that type of thing, child luring, these types of things. Generally, I show up with the police. In this case, we didn't. I mean,
Yeah, you kept it pretty. It seemed like you sort of kept it within you had boundaries almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, the cameras are for our safety, your safety,
Yeah, the
everyone's
cameras are
safety.
good.
Yeah.
Cameras are good.
Yeah.
Because
You've
just
expressed
like
that before.
I promote everything that you guys do, and child exploitation and stuff like that is a real problem.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I warned her about that. That's why we met at Tops. There's lots of cameras.
Right.
I told her if you're going to meet people, which she was adamant about meeting up, and I said if you're going to meet strangers and stuff, it's good to be smart about it.
So
go where there's cameras.
Wouldn't the smartest thing though is for her to tell me that she's planning on meeting up? Wouldn't that really be the best way to protect her?
Yes, I agree. But
Did you ask? Did you tell her
unfortunately,
to, or no?
Well, okay, so here's where it comes down to what is she going to do regardless of what is said to her. She's troubled, right, because of the stuff with her
Because
parents.
she's had horrible things happen to her. Yeah, she's
yeah, yeah.
very, very vulnerable.
Yes,
She's
yes.
desperate for a
passed away,
connection.
I agree.
Mother addicted
Mhm.
to drugs.
Right,
Yeah.
and she was lucky that, you know, I'm not saying like, you know, that these are the best circumstances, but I'm saying that she's lucky it was me and not someone else, because I genuinely have good intentions
Right.
for, like,
Better than one of
helping
those
her
creeps
improve.
that you can run
Yeah.
into on the internet.
So
Right,
like
and
you wouldn't
actually-
intend to hurt her, kidnap her, nothing like that.
No, of course not. In fact, I was going to share the book that I'm writing with her,
Mhm.
and the entire book is about improving yourself.
Can I?
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
You said that you would let her read the book
Yeah.
if you got to put your dick in her ass and then in and out until she had to stop you. That's what you said.
Can we see the context?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was about the book. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
I was just curious. Do you have a background in tutoring or education?
Not professionally, no. I do have some background in teaching and stuff, but
Mhm.
nothing like, you know, degrees in teaching and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, let's see. This one talks about I was going to put my dick in yours, in my butt, and as revenge, keep
Yeah,
it going.
See these? That's
Oh, so when you laugh about it, it makes it not
no,
not
that one's
That's a joke?
It's a joke.
that makes it so it's fun to joke about putting dick in 13-year-old ass. That's a
If
fun
she's
joke.
Sexually curious. Then
So
it
it's
is a funny joke.
Oh, it's hysterical.
Not saying that she should be sexually active when she hit puberty. When children hit puberty, they become sexually curious, and that leads to being sexually active. They can appreciate.
So, but the
sexual jokes.
context specifically was you were going to put your dick in her ass
Right.
as
It's a-
revenge
it's a-
and as revenge and keep putting it in and out until she made you stop. Those were your exact words.
Yes, and it's a joke. It's a crude joke, but
'Cause
it's
you had
because
the
I have a
emojis
dark
out
sense of
Yeah,
humor.
the emojis cancel out all the damage she does. That's the way I guess it goes.
That's. I mean, it implies that it's a joke.
Mhm.
I think she knew that it was a joke. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was discussed later that that was a joke,
Mhm.
right? I'm pretty sure it was discussed.
You discuss a
for
lot
me.
about how you could get in trouble for a lot of things. That's why you won't cross boundaries.
Exactly. That's
Mhm.
why there's specific boundaries.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what boundaries do you set with yourself? With
Uh,
are you talking with other age children as well, or just Morgan?
No, I
or-
don't have a habit of talking to underage children.
What,
And it
what
was
about those
discussed-
kids that you asked her if she wanted to meet kids her age because you know some? Who are those people? Get right here. Thanks. Do you want to meet some other kids to talk to that are your age?
Oh.
I know some.
Yeah.
Who are those?
family, essentially.
No, you said they're not family.
They're okay. My baby's mom, right?
Deborah?
has Yep, Deborah. She's got a bunch of siblings who are that age. 9.
Do you
13,
joke about this stuff with
15.
them, I wonder? Do you joke about this stuff with like the
No,
15-year-old?
We don't have those kind of conversations.
Why?
We don't talk that much. We're not friends. Me and Morgan.
Fuck your
bonded.
friends. So, but it's because it's funny though. You wouldn't have that kind of funny joke with the other kids you know, with your baby mama's siblings.
I would if I felt like it was appropriate. I have jokes.
So, what would make it
I have
appropriate?
jokes with one of them.
So, what would make it appropriate?
An understanding. I'm not gonna have that joke with you. Maybe.
Is
Because you
it-
understand that I'm not happy
Because
right
she's
now.
of age, or what?
No, because she's already expressed that she would. The joke would not appeal to her. It wouldn't be funny, so it kills the joke. There's no
Yeah,
point.
right. Because it's not funny. It's not going to be funny for the aunt when she hears that some 35-year-old man wants to anally rape her niece. That's not going to make me laugh.
Well, I definitely would not. Rape.
Well, you would because she's 13.
rape her.
Even you even said that it would be considered rape. So you know that.
It would be, yeah.
Right. So
Which
you
is
know
why-
that.
which is why I wouldn't
So it would
do
be anally rape. So, but that's what I'm saying. You
Right,
don't
but
think
that's
that
the
joke maybe? So that's the joke. Anal rape
That's
of a
why-
13-year-old is a joke.
Do you think it's
I'm just-
appropriate to make that joke with children online?
I mean, the appropriateness of jokes is going to be controversial for all of humanity.
Let's talk about age
I
again.
think you're talking about adults, not in the context of speaking with a child online and then you know, concocting that you're tutoring them, saying that they can bring any random homework that they want so it looks like you're tutoring them,
Pack a
and
backpack.
then coming to meet them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, in the context of those actions, the jokes seem a little less funny. On 331, when you came back after having said that you had to go away due to societal norms and stigma, you said there's a reason young girls are called jailbait. What's that reason?
Because they become sexually active, right? Sexually curious, sexually active, but they haven't reached the age of consent.
Okay.
So then if you have sex with them, then it's statutory rape, which was explained.
Okay.
And that's,
All right.
you know, jailbait.
So when you were Googling all this, I would imagine, did you use Google to kind of check out the laws and see where your boundaries are with conversing
To
with a
clarify
child?
terms,
Yeah. Okay.
Really, buddy.
When you were going through the Google, because the next day you said you have to be careful about the things you say, you'd be in a world of shit if it was found out you were talking to an underage.
If certain things are said,
Okay. And in your research, the things that you said kind of stuck within those boundaries, and you're having a healthy relationship with a 13-year-old child online.
If they were in the boundaries, he probably just put a smiley face emoji after so that we know he's just joking.
What's your question?
My question was, so do you think you said you could be in a world of shit if things got sexual with it.
Yeah.
But is it problematic, or are there maybe issues with the law, or issues with harming a child, doing harm to them requiring therapy and all this stuff?
Both of
With
those
actions
things.
other than actual sex, like, I mean, joking about, you know, fucking in the ass, these types of things. Can you conceive that could be harmful to the child?
Yes, that is arguably harmful. Yep.
Arguably.
I agree. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're basically advancing her past what she doesn't know and giving her graphic details and graphic images for a little child to learn.
Yes, I answered her questions as she asked me.
No, you taught her how to masturbate.
Because she asked about it.
Oh, you did teach her how to masturbate.
No, you told her to do it. You told her to do it. I have everything.
Because she was talking about, you know, having butterflies and stuff, and I said, well, you're probably horny, right? If it's a young child learning the, you know,
Do you ask
the hormones that she's not
Do you
familiar
ask
with.
other 13-year-olds if they're probably horny?
No. Other 13-year-olds
Why this one?
don't talk to me about sex and then tell me that they're
I don't
have
really
all these
believe
feelings
that,
that they don't
honestly.
know.
I get a bad feeling about you.
Do you think it's appropriate that you discuss those things with a child online?
I think talking to children about topics that are
You told her to
confused about
put
is
her
helpful.
fingers inside of her. Verbatim.
As a
That's
tool of
directives. That's not talking about. That's directives. You told her what to do. And you wanted to know how it went and what she was doing. You wanted her to talk about it. You asked her, you know, you got more questions. Like, you wanted to discuss it because it turned you on. That's the issue. I think you need to be real with yourself and admit that you might have a problem. No person who's not attracted to children would behave like this.
On April 8th, he offered to be her
Self-reflection
secret
is
boyfriend.
important. I agree.
He offered to be her secret boyfriend.
so
on
wise.
April 8th.
Can I see that?
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
got
that
you.
was April 8th. I didn't get a timestamp on that one. So he offered to be her secret boyfriend. She asked, she accepted, and you said, if you're cool with that, it works for me. So she's going to find those chat logs.
I don't
Right
believe
here. Yes, you did.
that's how that went.
Want me to be your secret boyfriend? And then you added an emoji so we know he's just kidding.
And I said, just kidding.
Right,
Oh,
and then
okay.
you
So you're
said,
just kidding.
do you really want me to be your secret boyfriend? Like, why keep
Right.
asking it? You don't think the joke gets stale, maybe? And then we turn this page and you say, I'm old enough to be your dad, but if you're cool with that, then it works for me. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, she's cool with hanging out with someone.
No,
who's
it was in
significantly
reference
older.
very specifically to being a secret boyfriend.
That wasn't in reference to being a boyfriend.
Well, we'll see how people interpret this if you can't.
April 12th, just after midnight, you said, "I'd love to spend the night with you and spend the night cuddling." Would you love to spend the night with me? Spend the night cuddling her?
I mean, cuddling is always nice. She is a bit young for that, I agree, but
Is it appropriate for a child to meet an adult online and spend the night with them cuddling?
no, which is why I told her that we cannot do sleepovers. 'cause
But
she
you
wanted
would
do
like
sleepovers.
to.
Starting
so you
to see
have that
cracks in
desire.
the foundation here. It seems like this is starting to veer into a little inappropriateness. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree that something like that would be inappropriate.
She was talking about being your boyfriend. You said, "We can't. Society sucks." And it gets worse too. People would say, "I'm taking advantage of you because you don't know better." I'd be called a groomer, a pedophile. People would assume I'm trying to force myself on you using manipulation.
So let me just tell you, I read through this.
Do you feel like any of what you said was manipulation?
Or grooming.
No grooming?
No, no grooming.
No.
Inappropriate at certain points, I would agree.
Okay.
Grooming, manipulating, no, I would not agree with any of that.
Not a chance.
No, you kept trying to get her to give you her address, her actual address. Sneaky little ways. Like you were like, "Oh, I'll show you how GIS works. Just give me your address. Where do you live?"
She was interested in what I was doing for work. so I
No,
couldn't
she
show her.
asked, "What is GIS?" She didn't say, "Teach me how to locate, how to triangulate a location."
I'm only gonna find her house.
Then why
April
did you want
12th.
her address?
I don't think I asked for her address at that point.
April
Please.
12th at 1:30, you said, "It's good to be cautious meeting strangers. It can be dangerous. That's how people go missing, especially young, cute girls. But I'm nice. I'll take good care of you."
Yeah, true.
So you're a good stranger that would meet a child off the internet after a charged conversation to take her back to your house where you have a 5-inch dildo waiting for her with anal lube. This is what you're telling me.
And then you were gonna. It says you're gonna teach her. You're gonna show her how to do it.
And then you're
Thank
going to show her
God.
how to use it. So you're the good guy.
You can show her how to use it without
You're going to take her to
Being-
your home today.
take her
Is the
to
plan.
the house.
Say
Right.
that nice and loud. He's gonna take her to his house today,
Take her to the house.
Take her to the house.
where you have a what?
The dildo
Dildo.
lube,
That you
What kind of
purchased-
lube?
Where'd you
What kind of
purchase it?
lube? Real
not lube, but
Mhm.
any lube. I just grabbed a small bottle of whatever lube.
anal lube.
I don't think that matters.
It does, since you said you wanted to stick it in her ass, so I
Yeah,
would think
you
it's
did
applicable.
mention sticking it in her ass, and now you have anal lube, and you're taking her to your house to show it to her, right?
And it's okay for
I
you
guess
to
we could
show
tie
her
this
how
together,
to
but-
use a dildo on herself to masturbate because she's going
can-
through puberty to explore. So
Yeah,
it's
it's exploration.
totally fine for you, this 35-year-old guy that she met off of Telegram, to go to your house where you bought her a 5-inch dildo and anal lube, and you're going to show her, but that's okay.
But we're still the good guy, right?
You still think that's totally fine. You don't see
I
a problem.
understand that, it's probably inappropriate, but in terms of
This is
teaching her
wildly
stuff,
inappropriate, sir.
Wildly.
That's fair.
Do you think we're creeping up on illegal yet?
I don't know. I
Oh.
don't know all the
Oh no, the Google
technical-
foo is failing.
I don't-
Yeah, your
I
Google
don't
law
think
degree
anything
sucks,
is,
bro.
You
illegal.
don't? Okay, well, let's keep on.
Oh,
April 15th, 8:47, you said, "I feel like I'm stealing all of your innocence. When you take a shower, try things with your fingers or when you lay in
And
bed."
you know what? That's exactly
Yeah.
what you were doing, because by you teaching her how to do these things, you're taking that innocence away from her. By
Right.
you showing her something she has, she might be curious. She's not mentally ready to know those kind of things. And you were like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead, steal all her innocence. And you recognize that fact too. You recognize that fact, and you could put as many smiley face emojis after that you want. But that right there is manipulation and grooming. Okay? The fact that you the fact that you arranged to meet with her during spring break and kept asking if you guys were going to meet, that's manipulation and grooming.
I don't think that is.
Well, I mean, you told her it was safe. You told her all the things that would keep her safe. That's the manipulation and grooming part. There's nothing safe about getting in a car with you, some random stranger from Telegram, with a 5-inch dildo ready to go show her how it's done with some anal lube.
You can show her.
No,
without-
you can't show her.
What was your plan to show her?
cannot show her.
Were you going to be sitting across the room and just observing, or
No,
as
no,
she
you
as
don't.
she did that?
You can keep all your clothes on and teach how to use it. though. It's not something that I don't have to take her clothes off and like stick it in her.
Yeah.
Or watch her do it.
So you
can
drove
just
a
show, like,
town
look.
over to pick her up from the grocery store, to take her back to your house, to then demonstrate with clothes on how to use the 5-inch dildo in this anal while
Well,
her parent,
no.
while her grandma and aunt are otherwise
said,
The
occupied.
though.
primary, well,
That's what
it
you
was,
said.
yes, that part was included, but the primary plan, again, was actually to tutor.
Yeah.
Even though she didn't have any homework and she kept telling you that, and you said no, we got to keep saying that that I'm your tutor, I'm your secret tutor.
There's always more you can learn, but yes, tutoring was part
So
of the plan.
who arranged for this tutoring? Because I don't remember calling a tutor for her,
Yeah, there
especially
was-
because her grades are straight A's. But so I don't remember calling a tutor. I don't remember her ever actually needing one. So who are you to put yourself in that position? Who are you to take my niece from this store home to a 5-inch dildo and tell her to lie about it?
That's a fair question, but I never told her to lie about it. She just went that route.
Well, why didn't you tell her to ask her aunt then? Because you said we got to be quiet. Wait, what did you say? You
Let's
said,
not
won't that
get
be
hung up
suspicious?
on the lying. Let's get
Okay,
back to the
you're right.
original question. Who are you to do that?
Yeah,
Oh,
who are
good
you?
question. Yeah.
Oh,
Who am
good
I?
question.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a good question.
It's a really good question.
So she was asking about that book that you said you were writing on 415. You said, I'll let you read it if you suck my dick. Just kidding, just
That's
kidding.
what it was.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not a
So-
funny joke.
So,
To a
That's-
child.
that's
To a
fair.
child, it's not a funny joke.
okay.
Fair.
Also,
And
if
I
you've
s- I
been
told
working
her-
on that book for so long, it kind of sounds like it sucks and you can't get past the first chapter. You might want to just let it go, because honestly, I don't want your advice about what makes this world a better place for the future if you think it's okay to talk to children like this. If you
That's
if
a
you
fair
think it's
opinion.
okay to buy them dildos, I
So-
don't want your opinion.
After you were joking about letting her suck your dick, you gave a speech about dick sucking, kind of instructions on how to do it. You also sent a video demonstrating with your
your
thumb and
thumb.
fingers how to do it.
Yep.
And then you said, you don't know because you're too young. You're talking about coming in her mouth. And cum is the juice that I'll show you, that I'll show you. Cum is the juice, and I'll show you what I mean, you said. And then you sent videos to the 13-year-old child of someone getting oral sex. Do you
Yep.
think that's appropriate to send videos, pornographic videos of to children
I think
that you've met
children-
on the internet?
I think children will just have access to porn and,
Yeah.
and access it when they're.
Yeah, you're the access.
With
You're
all
the
of your
access.
The
extensive
internet,
Google
plenty
foo,
of
all of your extensive and expert Google foo, no doubt. Do you think we're creeping yet into illegalities here?
My answer is the same as before.
No.
This would be fun.
Can we
I
just
don't know. I don't think so. Is
Okay.
my answer.
Sounds good. Videos
Maybe you need a
sent to
tutor.
team administration.
I think we can all use a tutor.
You sent her another video of two women who were male penis, and you said, referring to her other 13-year-old friend, here's you and your 13-year-old friend, saying it's the two girls in the picture sucking on, and it was I believe a picture of two girls sucking.
It was, yeah.
So you said that's and her friend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that
And you said-
appropriate?
Yeah, is that appropriate?
No.
Okay, and then you also said, now I want to know if this is grooming. You also said, how about you talk to your friend about this, and then maybe we can introduce her later to you.
Yeah. Well.
'Cause you thought it would be
was
fun.
Her idea, and then
It was actually your idea.
it was her idea,
Nah.
and I turned that down.
Oh,
No, you
Poppy.
didn't, but I
This is a
Poppy for
sticky wicket.
real.
So, April 16th, you said, looking back on our chat, there's a ton of sex stuff now. And you did a laughing, sweaty emoji, like, oh, maybe you're getting a little nervous about all the sex stuff he saw piling up
was a lot.
with this 13-year-old girl.
Yep.
It was a lot. Even in your opinion, it's a lot, right?
Yeah, because I was scrolling back to look at other random stuff, and like it was just like boom, 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 boom.
That didn't cause you to think maybe there's an issue?
Shortly after that message, you said, we just can't talk about doing sex stuff. So I'm always going to say, you're too young, but I will talk about sex in general and just give you advice. You've acknowledged that's what you're doing. Then you sent some strap-ons with pics and vids.
Yeah, because she was asking about that.
Some of your tutelage for this girl was oral sex and anal good ways to keep from getting pregnant.
True.
I mean,
If
that's.
you're gonna have sex and avoid getting pregnant, those are good options.
I mean, they are
She
indeed
asked about
ways.
I mean, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too bad you didn't broach on like STDs and stuff, though. Really educate her on this
Shortly
stuff.
after that, you said.
That's a good plan. Talk about it.
No,
talk
you,
about
you
it.
better not talk to her again. That's all I have to say.
No,
It's not
I
a
think
plan.
you're
You
done.
better not.
I'm not gonna talk to her
And that's
again.
why we're here. We just want to make sure you don't talk to her. That's why we didn't arrive with a cavalcade of police officers. You used to drive a middle school bus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all ages.
Yeah.
Okay, for
Did you ever have any issues with the children there?
No, never.
Children have any issues with you ever while you're doing that?
No, never.
No
Well, it's-
concerns. Did you instruct any of those children in the manner that you're instructing our here today?
Nope.
No.
even though they're going through puberty, and it's totally okay if you were, to
Yeah,
answer
because
like.
we don't have any time to just bond is the first thing, but also again.
But
it's
if you had that time, you would take it to bond with those kids. Would you have taken it?
No, I mean as they get older, right? Because once they get closer to like the age of consent.
Yeah. There was some talk about the age of consent. You helpfully pointed out that in New York it's 17 rather than 18.
Right.
Um,
17, yeah. So
and
like
for
I
that
told her,
reason-
she's got to wait till she's 17.
Right. You have to tutor her real good till she's 17, and then these are problems you'd no longer have to worry about. You said.
Right. And
Um,
that does, I agree, sound a lot like grooming.
That's literally the
well,
definition.
Yeah, you got years of grooming planned. It sounds like to me.
I
Oh,
wouldn't
man.
consider
It doesn't matter
that
what you
to be
consider.
grooming. Well, okay, that's
But
fair.
I
The
do, I
definition-
do appreciate your candor there. To me, it sounds like grooming as well. Like this whole thing. The,
Yeah, I
the
completely
whole
understand that.
conversation reads as grooming because you're making a 13-year-old child comfortable so that you can talk about all this sex stuff to later meet her at a grocery store to take her home where you have a 5-inch dildo. And we decided you can't talk. You can't talk
You
to
can't talk to any kid
children
like
like
that.
this, dude. Did you not
Fair,
talk
that's
to
fair.
those children on the school bus in such a manner? Did you not instruct them in such a way because you didn't have the time and the access to them that you needed to do that? Or did you do it because it's fucking wrong, dude? These are children.
Yes, and I agree.
Why? Did you not do it because it's wrong at the time, or did you not do it because you didn't have the access?
Well, I mean, both play a part.
Okay.
Right.
In general, right, I don't have any interest in being sexually active with children.
Yeah.
Um,
No interest at
That's-
all?
That's
It
weird.
seemed like you were
'cause
quite
you really
interested.
were. In 2 of them at least.
Well, didn't
when-
sound all
when
that
they-
interested in tutoring at all. Like, and you guys would
she
joke
wasn't-
about it.
she wasn't
No,
interested in
because you
tutoring.
just made it up so that you could have access to
Yeah,
her.
and you didn't
No,
sound
She
like
didn't
you
need
were.
tutoring. You made that part up. That was all you.
She doesn't need tutoring. I agree. But
Okay.
tutoring still helps.
Okay.
Helps what? Helps her learn how to use a dildo?
No, it helps you gain
no.
access to the child so
Right.
you can get her to the house
Bam.
and not have police show up when
Yeah,
we
look at
confront
that.
you, right?
Gives you
I
access
understand
and
that
time.
point. I see where you're coming from, right?
Yeah.
And that is a valid concern.
Yeah.
But the answer is no.
No. I'm pretty good at Googling too,
Mm-hmm.
Nick. Christian's your name?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sarah,
Christian.
Yep.
hmm
I'm pretty good at Googling too, and
I'm pretty good at researching.
she's really good at researching, and we were also stymied by these laws like Dretch. Nick, we certainly would never allow Nick to actually have sexual contact with his child, but like he's too smart for us.
Yeah.
I mean, he stayed
But
in
then
the box.
It
and-
was crazy because as soon as you got that verification picture, it's like everything flipped.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden you were willing to talk full-blown sex
And
stuff.
we were like, this shit is wildly
Side
inappropriate.
porn?
Like, if only there was a law or something.
I want you to
that
hold on to
might,
that and take a look at what that says.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
He
what
just
that
thanked
is,
me for his felonies.
it's
Well,
section.
no, for education.
Yeah, it's section 235.22 of the New York State Penal Code. This is referring disseminating indecent material to minors in the first degree.
Giving children porn is illegal?
Dun dun.
Yes,
dun, 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 dun,
you
dun,
cannot
dun.
give a child sexual material.
Oh. I
Oh
didn't
my
know.
gosh.
That is
I don't know.
abuse.
You sent 10 pictures, and at
That's
the
10
bottom here it
felonies.
says that each of them is a Class D felony.
And
Oh,
well,
I
not all of them,
apologize.
but the reason why it went from a Class E to a Class D is because you made plans. You made plans to meet, and you bought a dildo that's sitting at home with a thing of anal lube waiting to be used.
So that's 10 felonies right
wait a
there.
Wait, I got more.
For her.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to
Here you
use.
go.
So that's 10 felonies of indecent.
I'm
This
not
is,
letting you keep that. That's mine. You can print your own.
Section 120.70.
Sorry for folding it on.
You can just
Oh my
refer
God.
back to it. But this is of luring a child. And so basically, if you'd like, you can read through it. But luring a child is basically having a sexually charged conversation with a child online and then meeting them in the public. Taking them to your house, say maybe where your 5-inch dildo is that you bought
So
specifically
if you
for
would have
her.
gotten her actually
Which
in your
would
car,
be-
you want to know what else it would have been? Kidnapping.
Oh, why?
Because she cannot consent, and you didn't talk to me about that.
Yeah, much like the whole
consent
sex thing.
Getting in a car with a strange man that she talked to on Telegram. No, she can't consent to that.
Oh, well, that's
No,
also good to know.
strange men shouldn't be talking to children. Don't act surprised by that. I think you probably have more victims. Just from the stuff that you've said in here, I think you probably have more victims. I'm concerned about your baby mama's siblings because I don't trust you. And like,
That's a fair stance.
I've never had someone so agreeable talk to me.
I'm a very agreeable person. I try to be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't you think it'd be helpful maybe since you're doing all this illegal
Maybe
stuff that
let's
you don't
come over
even
by the
see,
wall here. It's less
that you don't
breezy.
even see as like an issue? Don't you think maybe it'd be helpful so that it never happens again for you to report the crimes that you've committed? Don't you think it's important stuff as a good American citizen? Don't you think it's important to let them know that you went and you did these things to kids? You didn't know it was wrong, but you know there needs to be accountability, right?
I mean, if I felt like
Like you
what
broke the
I
law,
did
you broke the
was
law.
A problem.
It's a problem.
It is against the law, and I understand.
It's not just
that
against the law, it's
inappropriate.
felonies.
Yes.
They're not misdemeanors, these are felonies. And you have more than 2 handful.
Felonies tend to be so serious you start losing your rights at that point, you know.
Yeah, true.
So in my opinion, this is a serious matter. Disseminating indecent material to a minor in the state of New York is indeed a felony. Meeting up with that child with the intent of more sexual, and this, when you look up the laws, which I'm sure you will Google them, I know what you're going to say. You weren't planning on having sex with them, but it's also the law. It says or, you know, ors are big in laws, and
True.
they got ands
They
and
tend
ors.
to be ambiguous.
So it's either like
got that
having
from
sex with a
Google
child
Law.
or instructing them to touch their own genitalia is what you're
I
going to
also
find as
would
you're
not-
doing that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Well, what,
That's
I
good to
mean,
know.
why would you? Like, why would you teach a random stranger child how to touch their genitalia? Why would you? Let's just ask somebody walking by if they've ever asked a child to stick their fingers in her vagina. Because that's exactly what you
Well-
told her to do. I want you to ask someone random and just see, because maybe it's
The con-
normal.
The context is completely different.
No, it's not. You were teaching her how to
It'd be like-
masturbate.
It'd be like, okay, so let's say she has a conversation
Yes,
with
please
you.
justify. Yep.
She has a conversation with you, and she's like, hey, you know, I have these feelings of getting horny, essentially, and, you know, I
She
don't
didn't know
what
that
to-
word till you taught her that, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's good to know the words. But
Is it?
I think so.
As a 13-year-old? Yeah, it's good to know.
I mean,
Do you
I
think all
forms
kids should
of
know?
Education are good. If they're old enough to start asking the questions, I think it's good for them to know.
So you think it's reasonable for you to take it upon yourself to let all the children of this great city know about sex and touching
That's
themselves
so
and how it
dangerous.
works?
Not me.
Yes, you.
Huh?
I-
Wait,
no,
who are you
not me.
electing for this position? I'm not doing it. That's illegal.
Well, that's for the education system.
Then why
ideally.
are you doing it?
Because she didn't know. I don't think the education system's doing a good job.
So then why wouldn't you be the one to do it every other time then?
You're conducting civic duty here.
Yeah, you're
Out of
helping.
a sense of
You're just
patriotism?
helping educate people because you feel like our education system's a little broken.
The one person, because we were friends and she wanted to talk all the time and she had questions, so I answered them. I'm not, you know, going around to
You know
all
what
the
I
children.
find is so weird? Like, he had an opportunity to walk away from this.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity to walk away from this and never talk to this girl again. But the weird part is, like, almost exactly to the day that she made a Facebook profile, you hopped into her DMs. You hadn't talked to her since October, and you found her on Facebook and hopped right into her DMs. Now that doesn't sound like somebody who's just being nice, answering questions for a little kid who has some questions. That sounds to me like a predator who's been preying on a child and found them, and now is going to use that to their advantage.
Well, you did say, you know, that a lot of this stuff you just kept telling, well, we have to talk in person about that. We can't talk on the phone because the servers store all this information, so all this has to be discussed in person.
Yep.
That's where all that sexual stuff was hiding behind the door. So you were going to discuss that with her on the way home, all this stuff you couldn't talk on the phone because it's stored, the police could find it, parents could find it. This is where you're going to answer the sexual questions you couldn't on the conversation.
So why couldn't you talk about it on the phone if it's not illegal? And you're just doing a public service. You weren't going to do anything that was bad. Why wouldn't you talk about it?
Because I know it is illegal.
You didn't
you
then.
know now that it is, but it sounds like you have no issue with doing it because you did it to this child. You said that you don't do it for all the 13-year-old citizens of this great city. It sounded like you didn't because you don't have enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think maybe this could be a
time?
business opportunity for someone? They could meet children online and just have a
Tutor.
warehouse full of warehouses where they would give 13-year-olds sexual information and send them porn online. Do you think maybe you could fill that as a...
I think there is a legitimate business opportunity, and I think that should be addressed.
Yeah,
I agree. That's a good idea.
You think that should be addressed, that there should be a warehouse full of people that contact 13-year-olds online and send them porn and instruct them on how to use dildos on themselves?
Purchase them a dildo. And purchase them a dildo.
Don't do it because you don't have enough hours or you don't need the money.
I'm not saying it should happen. I'm saying that it is an opportunity in the same way that kidnapping and ransoming is an opportunity, and it needs to be addressed.
I disagree. I don't like this business idea. I think it's a horrible idea. I think these conversations should be had by parents, not bus drivers of middle school kids who have done it before, like who have driven buses for schools full of kids.
And didn't just have the opportunity at that
This is not upon
point.
you to instruct our children on how to have sex. This is not on you to instruct our children or send them porn.
It's not on you to buy them sex toys.
I agree.
And you bought her a sex toy, yeah?
So that she would have one for
And you were taking her to your house
you bought a 13-year-old
right
a sex
after?
toy so she would have one to practice on, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't-
Hi.
What's going on, guys?
Well,
This gentleman showed up to meet up with who he believed to be a 13-year-old child after a sexual conversation. He sent her porn, 10 different videos of children, or not children, of women, masturbating, of oral sex, of all that stuff, instructing her. He was going to take her home to his house where he purchased a 5-inch dildo with anal lube yesterday, and he was going to bring her home. We have the entire conversation that they had online since late last year. The entire amount of chat logs, and he agrees he did all this stuff. He didn't realize any of it was illegal.
they're actually videos.
But I'm sure he would want to talk to you.
You're Christian, is that what you're Yes.
And this is what he bought her yesterday. And a dildo, and he said that he's going to teach her how to use it today, which is when he would have met her today.
We're all right.
Oh,
Okay.
it's for you. Sorry, I got a little wind blown.
So who was talking to him?
I was a decoy. Yeah.
Watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least please, in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. Get mad. You know, is it got to get mad. Get mad. I want you to get all I know first. You mad. Got to get mad. I want you to got to get mad.
Meow.
Got to get mad. Got to get mad.
Yeah, fuck
All
this
right.
bitch right here.
So,
No, I'm not saying that. No, I am not saying that, all right?
Nah, it's all right, but it's all right.
Don't take it that way. No,
We
No,
won't-
no.
we'll
I
try not
like
to
it.
put
I like
words in
being
your mouth.
scolded like I'm a little child. That's fun.
no.
I love the respect. Keep it up.